going to give each of you one of these.
Okay, thank you.
Sure that your new department has these.
I don't run real fast. I don't think anybody's going to snap it.
Right. There you go.
You and me, bro.
What would you like?
Oh.
Just right there. Okay.
Now here's the thing. Does anybody have a box that I can stand on?
Here, just step back and
Oh, that's true.
Stand
That's
up on
true.
the
I can
step.
do that. Okay, let's see. There you go. Now Kevin and I are the same height. How's that?
There was a picture.
No, that's the point.
You want to move it? Yeah. Okay.
Just a little bit closer, Dana. Stay where you are.
Yeah.
Stairs worked out in this case.
See? Yeah.
Good thing you said something.
Still,
instead of
still
after,
taller.
right?
I know you're still taller. I'm so sorry.
you're fine.
Yeah, thank you.
Tell us where to look and tell us when to.
Hit each of them and all four of us.
That's fair. Okay. Absolutely. Sure. At the same time?
Yeah. One with each eye.
Yeah, it's so thanks. It's a good thing I have strabismus. Okay. My name is Dan Mann, and this is Dr. Reverend Kevin Riggs, and we are friends with the guys on death row. I've been out there about 15 years and have gotten to know a lot of them, including Byron Black, who is scheduled for execution on Tuesday. Prior to each execution, there have been a group of us who have walked from or marched from Riverbend Maximum Security Institution to the Capitol, and then the day following we deliver a letter to the governor asking him to go pray with the guys. The guys on death row have invited him. They invited him in 2019 by formal letter, and so we have been coming every time in order to elicit a response from the governor. In addition to that, we also have petitions for clemency that we will be handing the governor today, and that's the purpose for us gathering here today.
You guys want to switch?
I don't know. Again, my name is Kevin Riggs, Kevinriggs, and I pastor Franklin Community Church in Franklin, Tennessee, and have been visiting death row for 12 years. And while I oppose all executions, this execution hits a little bit harder for us because of the many physical and mental problems that Byron Black has. He's intellectually disabled. He has heart failure, which is what's going on with the defibrillator that's in the news a lot. He is a diabetic. He has kidney failure, needs to be on dialysis, and some dementia going on as well. So Byron should have never been put on death row in the first place because of his intellectual disability. And now, a day away from the execution, we're just pleading for mercy on his behalf. We're pleading for, at the very least, that there's a reprieve or a stay so some of these issues can be worked out. Ultimately, we are asking the governor for clemency in his regard. Byron is 69 years old and in bad health, and it just doesn't, in my mind, make any sense to execute someone who has the intellectual disability and then all the physical problems that he has. And that's without even talking about, again, the defibrillator, where my understanding is now, since the Tennessee Supreme Court has ruled that they do not have to deactivate that, that what's going to happen is when they hook Mr. Black up to the drugs, when it stops his heart, he'll receive an electric shock and his heart will start again and then go through the process again. So it becomes torturous at that point. And so again, we're here asking for clemency. We will deliver the letter, as Dan has said, that the guys have signed. I think there's 32 guys on death row that signed the initial letter asking for the governor to come pray with them. Several of those guys have been executed since that time, but the request is still out there for the governor just to come and pray. No other agenda than that, just to pray with the guys. There's a strong faith on death row, not just in Christianity, but Judaism and Islam and others. There's a strong faith on death row, and Governor Lee, being a man of faith that I believe he is, should honor that request and just come and meet with the guys and pray with them.
Trish, you have that petition? Slide in here, boss.
All right.
Good morning. Thank you for coming. My name is Abraham Bonowitz. That's A-B-R-A-H-A-M. Bonowitz, B as in boy, O, N as in Nancy, O-W-I-T-Z. I'm the Executive Director of Death Penalty Action, a national organization that's here in support of local activism here in Nashville in Tennessee on this issue. In addition to delivering the letter today, we're also delivering a petition signed by over 5,000 people from around the world so far, and more people are adding their names to it every day. That's at deathpenaltyaction.org. And the petition simply asks that the governor stop the execution of Byron Black, who was convicted for the 1989 murders of Angela Clay and her two daughters, LaToya and LaKeisha. Byron Black is a wheelchair-bound elderly man with intellectual disability. The Tennessee and U.S. constitutions both prohibit the execution of people with an intellectual disability. We are concerned that while the vast majority of states have taken steps towards stopping executions, there's a handful of states around the country that are resuming or amplifying their executions. There is an execution of another mentally ill and disabled man in Alabama this month, and two so far in Florida this month. Florida just had an execution a few days ago. What is unique here is that we are now on a record-setting year of executions. The numbers of executions last year in 2024, there were 25 executions in all of the year, and so far this year we have executed 26, and we are about to move into, we're heading towards a year with more executions than there have been in this country since 2013. So that's happening. Also, unique in this case is the race issue, where you have a black man being executed for people who were black. The victims were black. That's a very rare thing. 80% of the people who have been executed in this country have been executed for the murder of white people. And normally, that's what we're seeing. So this is a rare case just in that regard. Finally, I want to make sure to introduce Samson Childs, who is here. He is Byron's son. He's been asked not to share his voice at this time, but we'll be looking forward to doing so once all the legal issues are resolved. So he is with us. He'll be presenting this petition to the governor. We invite you to come and walk with us as we do this. And are there any questions?
Do you have a set meeting, or is this you're just going to walk in and...
We're knocking on the door. The governor has not seen fit to give us a set meeting yet. Is that right?
Correct. We've been asking for a set meeting since 2018, actually, even before the letter. We've been asking for a set meeting. We've met with Joseph Williams, and that was, I think, in 2018, asking to meet with the governor, but it's been that long that we've been asking the question, and he refuses a set meeting.
Who was the guy that had the same name as the guy being executed?
Don Johnson was the gentleman that worked for the governor for a long time, that was taking the petitions to the governor, but we could not get actually to see the governor. We have met with him once. By happenstance or by providence, he was walking up while we were there presenting it. And so he has received from us the letter, but he has still not responded.
So, obvious question. Frustrating? Annoyed? Happy? What, like...
Disappointed.
My attitude is just determined to keep going. The one time, I think it was 2021, when Governor Lee was walking down the hall while we were here, and we stopped and had a brief conversation with him, and actually had prayer with him about this. And so I know that he has received literally thousands of copies of this letter from around the world, but also I guess this will be our 9th time that we've hand-delivered the letter to him, and on one occasion actually was able to give him the letter personally. So he knows about this letter. You would have to ask him why he does not choose to come pray with the guys. But I'm confident that he knows what we're doing. He probably knows we're here today, and so it just makes me more determined just to keep pushing. And
I will say that there is a historical context to this. Governor Clement did go and pray with the guys and meet the guys on death row when he was in his second term, after which he commuted all of their sentences. But again, there is historical precedence for a governor to go out to the prison to meet with the guys, and we're not asking for anything extraordinary. We're asking him to do what other governors have done.
What is the significance of praying with them? What is this accomplish? What is this achieved by doing so?
Great question. Our understanding is that proximity eliminates stigma. So by going and visiting and praying with them, the governor and those around him will have the understanding that these are not just people who on the margins of society that we can shove out of the limelight. These are people with families, with friends. These are part of a community, and they are human beings made in the image of God. Having that as an understanding changes things. I mean, we know proximity eliminates stigma.
Yeah, and I would add to that again, just these are brothers in Christ, and the request for the governor to come and pray is a sincere request. There's no other agenda. We have talked to the guys about that if this ever happened, what that would look like, and that there would be no appeal for clemency at that point. It would literally just be coming together as brothers of the same faith, and even some of different faiths, and just praying, just praying to God, which we all believe in. And I think that there would be something powerful in that, and it would be significant. And again, there's been a precedent set already for the governor going to pray. The governor has been active in jail ministries throughout his life, and to me, this would just be a continuation of that ministry by going and sitting down with the guys.
In 2018, I believe it was 2018, Don Johnson was executed, and it was the first execution of Governor Lee's administration. I was in the visitation room with Don Johnson the night before he was taken to death watch. Don was asked to pray. Don was a man of deep, deep faith. He was asked to pray, and he prayed. But he prayed for the governor. He prayed for the warden. He prayed for the COs. He prayed for those of us who were there, that we would find peace. He did not pray for himself. He literally prayed for those who were actively involved in the execution, and those of us who were there as friends and as witnesses to this. So it's something that these men, that's really who they are. And we've gotten to know that over 15 and 12 years of visiting them and getting to know them intimately.
And I would just, again, like to stress that there is no agenda but prayer with this request. There's no animosity. There's no, bait and switch. It's just a legitimate request just to come and just have prayer with them. And this was the guys on death row's idea. It wasn't our idea. This was brought up by them, and we're just trying to help get that request out.
If I may add one more thing. want to just be clear that we remember the victims here. We just don't think that there needs to be any more killing. So we're, in addition, concerned about the prison workers that get to take on a lifelong trauma and PTSD from taking an infirm, sick, physically sick, intellectually disabled person who they've come to know over decades and take him and kill him. That damages corrections workers. We know that. And that alone should make the death penalty an unacceptable public policy in Tennessee. It's one thing if you come across a robbery and the police are shooting and people get killed, but it's a whole other thing once a person is apprehended and disarmed and can no longer hurt another individual, and especially when they're basically confined to a wheelchair. What damage does it do to a person who has to kill that person?
You've spoken with other people on death row, correct?
Not in Tennessee specifically, but around the country, yes.
Yeah.
You've spoken with Byron.
Yeah, both Dan and I have spoken with Byron, and on multiple occasions, not just this occasion, but on multiple occasions. And I know all the men on death row, some more than others, but I know them all, and have relationships really with all of them. I mean, friendship relationships, pastoral relationship with some of them. And Byron is a man of faith, and anytime I visit him, and if I forget to pray before I leave, he'll stop me and say, "Well, Pastor, we got to pray first." And so he has prayed for me. I have prayed for him. We pray with one another. Byron, anytime I had an accident, my son was killed in an automobile accident a few years back, and ever since that occasion, when I see Byron, how you doing? His request is, he always says, "I'm doing good. How's Misty doing?" Misty's my wife, and his concern is how she is doing with the grief.
If Byron would not get this chance to pray with Governor Lee, is there anything that he wanted to say to Governor Lee, or maybe any people on death row, is there any message Byron or anybody else might have if they don't get the chance to see him pray?
Yeah, well, they pray for one another. There's kind of a process they go through that before the person who has an execution schedule, before they're removed and sent to solitary confinement, which is a whole other issue that we could talk about. And so 2 weeks ago, Byron was sent into solitary confinement and the only access he has is to his spiritual advisor and his lawyers, but not to us and not to the other guys. But before that happens, they all get together and pray. There is a pastor on death row that our church ordained named Kevin Burns, and he's usually one of the last people they talk with, and he has long times of prayer. So I'm confident that if Byron was given the chance to talk to Governor Lee, he would still, he would plead for clemency, no doubt, but he would also say that there's no hatred, there's no bitterness in his heart. He doesn't understand exactly what all's going on. And he would love that chance to pray with Governor Lee, and if he doesn't get that chance, he would most definitely encourage Governor Lee to go and pray with the guys who are still on death row.
I will say this to your question. I did get to see Byron. My wife and I got to tell him goodbye last Saturday when we were out for visitation, and we saw him in the room, and he was in his wheelchair. He rolled back to tell us that he loved us. We told him we loved him, and we're praying for him. So yes, that was the extent of our conversation last Saturday.
All right, so if any of you want to come with us to watch the presentation, we'll wait until you're ready. Trish, you want to take the signs and stash them? Yeah. Actually, we can probably just leave them with the signs. Okay.
did not.
Oh, I get the spelling of your name, please.
Yes. Dan. D-A-N-M-A-N-N.
Just that extra end or throw people off?
Dan.
Maybe not. We might have to go around that way.
Go ahead. I got the door.
Is this it for you? Who y'all with?
5, 17, 4, and 2. We usually go down to the bottom there.
Okay. All right, yeah, you're good. You all got like your little thing with you, your badge or whatever?
Yeah. Can you see it?
Yeah. You don't mind? Come back where it's there.
I've got mine in my car. Can I show it to you on the way up? Or do I need to get it right now?
Yeah, if it's in the car, is it got your thing on the side of the camera?
He's got a sticker right here.
Yeah, I've got 17.
All right. I'll believe you. Is this it?
That's it.
People voluntarily carry those cameras around.
Got you.
I don't have anything else unless it's
I wonder if it was picking up me. It couldn't pick up me going through.
You guys want to go through with your stuff first, and then I'll get you back through. You ain't got no hips or knees or nothing like that? Then you should. Would have been at the bottom of their stuff.
there someone here we can present a petition to the governor? Thank you, I appreciate that very much.
Samson.
Thank you very much, I appreciate that.
Somebody's coming.
Someone's coming, yes.
Give me a hand.
Imagine that.
We had no cameras with us when Oscar's execution. And so we stood here and stood here and stood here and stood here, Kevin and I waiting for somebody to just acknowledge our presence. Wow. Finally they were sitting there where this guy's standing. Really? Wouldn't acknowledge our existence. So we finally yelled at him. That's our chuckle right now. Misty's going to have to teach about me. I've got my hair, so I don't come. John the Baptist or something.
She's a beautician, not a magician.
Why you're here, what you're asking. In other words, first start with it's, let's say loud.
Yeah. That's not original. I mean, that's kind of. I gotta come out right here. I got it. Okay. Sorry about that.
Hey, Clay.
Michael.
Yeah, nice to meet you,
Well,
Michael. How are you?
I'm well.
Clay.
Dan Mann,
Nice to meet you, Dan.
Kevin Riggs.
Kevin, nice to meet you.
We have two things to present to you today. One is a letter to Governor Lee from the men on death row,
Yes, sir.
inviting him to come pray with them. We've delivered this to the governor's office 9 times now,
Okay.
and we've still not heard a response from the governor, so
Yes,
we would
sir.
ask for him to respond to the men on death
Okay.
row in that regard. Second thing is, there is a petition.
Do I grab the whole thing?
Please.
Got it.
There's a petition signed by over 5,000 people worldwide asking for clemency for Byron Black.
Okay.
And we would strongly encourage the governor to consider clemency in this regard.
Yes, sir.
You want to introduce yourself?
I'm Michael Sampson Childs. I am the son of Byron Black. So we're hoping and praying for a callous heart to be uncallous.
Yes, sir. Well, Clay, again, pleasure to meet you. Absolutely. Consider, yeah. Hey, thank you all for your time. Absolutely.
I think that went.
I that went as well as it's gone. That's pretty much what we get every time. Is that sure? We'll take it. So we don't hold any expectations. I mean, but we still hold out hope. Always hope. That's all we got.
Yeah, and we'll continue to do that. We think it's important from a faith base that somebody bears witness to what's going on. And so even if it seems like there's no response or it doesn't change anything, I think that it's, as a pastor, it's my obligation to bear witness for the cruelty that we see. And so regardless if we get a response or not, we know we've done the right thing. And we remain hopeful for a response, but the lack of response doesn't deter us from keep moving forward.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Gentlemen. And we appreciate your time. Thank you very, very much. Thank you.